Third stimulus check and third stimulus package. There's great items in the third stimulus package, no less than 5 items that every viewer can qualify for. But the big question as we sit here today is, when is the third stimulus package going to deliver money to our account? And more importantly, will this be the last stimulus package? No, says Nancy Pelosi. But what will be the next one? Jerome Powell last week and Janet Yellen, Treasury Secretary to Joe Biden, both said that employment numbers will not be back to normal until next year. So will we see more stimulus checks? I think you will. And will we see more FPUC? I think you will. But the question is whether or not the Biden administration thinks the same thing. This week we'll see the new unemployment numbers on Thursday, and thereafter we're going to shortly see the new job creation numbers, which Joe Biden last month said were horrible. The question is, will more stimulus be coming, and will it be standalone or merged as a big package? I have all those details and answers in this recording on Third Stimulus Check and Third Stimulus Package. Hey, good afternoon, everybody. Happy Valentine's Day, and hope you're good and safe. This is a big recording of Third Stimulus Check and Third Stimulus Package, with all the details about what is in the Third Stimulus Package, but also what could be coming shortly thereafter. Meantime, also what's available for you right now. I help people get money right now, not 5 days from now, not 5 weeks from now, not 5 months from now. So make sure you subscribe. In this recording, I'm going to go back over some of the money you can get locally so you don't have to wait around for the third stimulus package to land in your bank account. And if you've not subscribed, make sure you subscribe. Also, like this video. And if you've not become a member, consider becoming a member. Purple Hawk, Purple Power, or Calcino VIP. In this recording, I'm going to first cover second stimulus, then I cut over to third stimulus, and then I'm going to feature where is things going to come individually after third stimulus, because you've been asking me that question a lot lately, and I got the answers for you. With that, I have so much hitting for you across the board. Happy Valentine's Day again, and let's get to the breaking news. The breaking news first is that there's money available for rent, utilities, and food right now. So don't wait around for third stimulus to land your bank account. Rent and utilities and food is reachable by contacting nonprofits like Community Action, St. Vincent de Paul, Catholic Charities, United Way, Salvation Army. Get a pen and paper. I'll say that again to you. These are nonprofits that help you with rent without the implications of a third or second or first stimulus package. They're just nonprofits. Reach out to them and say, hey, I'm having problems with COVID assistance. United Way, Salvation Army, Community Action, St. Vincent de Paul. Very straightforward. Next, if you need help with rent, utilities, and food, and you've done that and you're confused, reach out to the volunteers. They're in the community page of this video. Contact them and say, I need help with rent in Duluth, Minnesota. Indicate what city and state you're from and what you need assistance for. They're absolutely incredible. Remember, the focus of this channel is to get you money not 5 weeks from now, not 5 months from now, but right now. No channel is getting money for you faster, quicker than this channel. Second, the important thing I want you to understand is that if you tried something before in like November or October, don't worry, because everything's different now. Money from the second stimulus package, that's the second one, has now landed in the states. So states that had no money for you, or counties that had no money, or cities that had no money for you in November, December, January, now have hundreds of millions of dollars. $300 billion was given to cities and states for exactly what I'm talking to you about, rent and utilities, under the second stimulus package law. Meantime, if you're wondering where that free internet is, free childcare, we're still looking for it. Also reach out to the volunteers they may have found in some situations. All right, next let's turn to third stimulus. Under third stimulus, you're getting a $1,400 stimulus check, $2,800 married couple, $1,400 for a child, $1,400 for adult dependents. FPUC will be $400 a week from March to end of July. Then there'll be a paid sick leave of up to $1,700 a week for every week you had to stay home because you have COVID, or every week you had to stay home because you had a quarantine, or every week you had to stay home because the child's school was closed, even though he or she was healthy and you were fine, or every week you had to stay home because a family member's sick with COVID. Next, there'll be a $1,700 student financial grant for every college student that's in college and needs money for financial aid. Then PUA will be extended, of course, to end of August as well. We're waiting to see the implications of hazard pay. We haven't seen those indications yet. EIDL grant will be $5,000, not $10,000, but it's tied with something else. And the add on to the $5,000 is not particularly clear. Restaurants can get up to $5 million grants per location, and restaurants include anything as low as a taco stand. And finally, there will be another round of PPPs. Missing and still waiting to see are hazard pay and also the issue of loans to go start a new business. There's a lot of other things that are promised and haven't manifested themselves, like SSI, SSDI, Social Security, and railroad benefits. So where are these things? First, they may be in the third stimulus package bill. We may see the bill as early as Monday. That's the great news. Number two, there is still the opportunity to get them in there even though they aren't in there. The Senate is the place in which the big changes to bills occur. So don't assume that this is the be-all and end-all when you look at the bill with me Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, whatever day it is, because they can still put stuff in there. And if it's not in there, we're going to push to put shit in there. Next, some items are ripe for separate bills. 2 Fridays ago, they introduced the Senate a $50,000 student loan debt forgiveness, separate bill. They introduced a $1,000 baby bond, separate bill. Elizabeth Warren did one of those 2 bills. She can also do one for SSI and SSDI, $100, $200 a month, plus the up to 20% increase, plus the new benchmark. She wrote and campaigned on those promises. Well, do exactly what you campaigned and ran for as president. Do it as a bill. Why are we waiting 2 weeks since the last one? Ultimately, some of the messaging I want to remind you about is that because the Senate is not in session doesn't mean that people don't work. This is different than on vacation. On vacation is different than not in session. In session means they're not voting on a bill, but subcommittees are still working. People are still in town. In session means they're not on the floor of the Senate arguing a bill and voting on it up or down. Next, Jerome Powell says we are not back to normal until we have certain broad re-employment. Despite the surprising speed of recovery early on, we're still very far from a strong labor market who are broadly shared. And when asked, well, will you raise rates? Will we have inflation? Are we going to be back to normal? He said no last week when speaking to the New York Economic Club until we see broad stroke reemployment, and we're far from that, he said. These comments were not unusual. Janet Yellen said the same remarks as well. Meantime, there's confusion about why the $35,000, if it's a family of 5, child tax credit, which is a check that is actually paid as an advance, starting in the month of July, is being done that way. But things like the earned income tax credit are not. The earned income tax credit is $1,500 if you worked in the pandemic and made less than $25,000. It is a tax credit that you have to file a tax return next year and then claim it on your tax return. Whereas the child tax credit on the Biden plan will be prepaid to you starting in the month of July. Very different application of similar items, not particularly clear why. Meantime, there are other issues at hand. And those issues are, for example, the EIDL grant. The EIDL grant is $5,000. Why? The $5,000 grant was to get businesses that suffered during the pandemic back to normal. $5,000 doesn't cut it. Meantime, the Biden pre-inauguration summary of the third stimulus package bill papers of January said that he was going to give businesses universally consistent, equal disbursement of grant money. He's not doing that. Rather, he's giving up to $5 million grants to restaurants, but not to non-restaurants. Absolutely unfair. It's categorically unfair. It is a business disgrace that restaurants are getting this enormous separate provision under the third stimulus package bill, but everyone else doesn't get that grant. Why are we giving beneficial treatment to those restaurants? Meantime, the concern is that third stimulus has a lot of expiration dates of August. Why August? That also doesn't make sense. Currently, the number of people who are jobless is 40% of the United States. According to the Bureau of Labor Statistics in a new report last week, the record last set was 46% during the Great Recession. They're very concerned that if this continues with unemployment not improving and new jobs not being created, that we continue to get worse, and yet the stimulus packages may not be the finality. Last week, Nancy Pelosi said, "Don't worry. I'm working on the next plan. This is the relief plan. Then I'm doing the recovery plan." Well, the question is, wait a second. Why does this plan have all these expiration dates of August? And is the next plan so close around the corner? Ultimately, this is the message you should take away from this video. You should go on social media and tag your elected leaders for all your respective subject matters and say, go bigger and go bolder. You should call up your senators from your home state and your House representatives, say, go bigger and go bolder, whether it's a stimulus check or the FPUC. And then, for each of the other senators that are not your respective senators, you should do the following. You should tag you should tag the senator out of Oregon and say, I support you on your position for FPUC. And you should also include retroactive checks. You should tag Elizabeth Warren and Bernie Sanders, say, we should get $2,000 plus $1,400. You should tag Marco Rubio and Ted Cruz and the senators from Arizona and Cardin, say, what is this $5,000 business grant? This is not enough. And with that, let me answer some of your 2,000 questions and comments from yesterday's recording. If you have questions to this recording, drop in the comments below. I might answer it tomorrow's recording. James, of course it's getting higher. The government's doing nothing to stop it. Now the trial's over, says Ron. We can move full steam ahead. Good, yes. Heavy Pasado, more delays, just get it done. Donna, I feel like they're waiting until Trump signed into law in late December expires. Mark, I meant single older people need to eat also. Susie, I'm on SSI. I'm always giving up food and medicine this month with prices giving up. Steve, it's been a month, same old thing. Geraldo, good evening, LA, to my family. They need to start dragging their feet. Amen. Tina, of course no. Patricia, people who are working and seniors are getting left behind. Heavy Pasado, it takes a lot to take care of a baby and the elder with meds and doctor visits. Mark Warner, I agree with you. They need to do more for the single older person. Nancy, the child must have a generous tooth fairy. The mutation is already in Rock Island. This is commenting about the mutation coverage about yesterday. No kid needs $360 a month, says Tina. Michael, what about the Cash Act? Great comment. Where is that $2,000 stimulus check for 2021? Diane, hey, LA, I look forward. Thank you for always looking out for the American people. I appreciate that, Diane. I'm always fighting for you. James, that's all that happened. Real Brian. Let's do the stimulus bill. I'm tired of hearing about impeachment. Connie, love watching you. Part of my schedule every day. Well, thank you. And join me next on What the Chuck. Troy, support for adult dependents. Absolutely. Mike, we've been waiting for very long. Kenneth, we need the stimulus checks right now. Michael, when are we going to see the stimulus checks? Felicia, they need to make it bigger. Diane, handing out cookies is not sufficient. It is not. If you have questions or comments in today's recording, drop them in the comments below. I might feature them in tomorrow's recording. Coming up next is What the Chuck. Stay informed, stay focused. Go to the Friends channel, subscribe. Also like this video. As always, stay with LA for more.